Hello there, Year 10. Good morning or good afternoon. Mr. Stevenson here again. Your final lesson on Act 3, Scene 1, your fourth lesson of the week. We're going to be focusing on Mercutio and his character today, but that's not going to be the title. I'll see you on the next slide where I'll show you what the title's going to be for today. Okay, so your title for today is going to be as follows. Starting with Mercutio's speech, explain what we learn about his character in this scene and his importance in the play as a whole. Okay, so underline that once you've written it down. Make sure you've got the date and you've underlined that as well. You can do this in your exercise book, of course. Don't necessarily need to write these two down at this point, although it would be a good idea to have them down because you need to answer both parts of the question in order to achieve full marks or close as possible. So how Shakespeare presents Mercutio in this extract and how Shakespeare presents Mercutio in the play as a whole. Okay. Once you've done that, I'll see you on the next slide because we're going to be looking at this extract to answer the question as well as the play as a whole, but the focus is on Mercutio. Okay, so you've probably already realised that we're going to be answering that question that you've written down as your title for today. And that's all we're going to do today. So, we're going to write about the extract, which is here, and the play as a whole. So you need to be writing a paragraph on each at least. So, you might recognise this extract because this is the extract we looked at in the last lesson. So you've got plenty of notes and ideas about this and you should now be familiar with it, okay? So, I'll just read it out and then we'll look at this and then I'll set you off to answer that question. So it starts with Benvolio. What, art thou hurt? Aye, a scratch, marry, 'tis enough. Where is my page? Go, villain, fetch a surgeon. So Romeo now, courage, man, the hurt cannot be much. No, 'tis not so deep as a well, nor so wide as a church door, but 'tis enough, 'twill serve. Ask for me tomorrow, and you shall find me a grave man. I am peppered, I warrant for this world. A plague or both your houses. Zounds, a dog, a rat, a mouse, a cat, to scratch a man to death. A baggard, a rogue, a villain, that fights by the book of arithmetic. Why the devil came you between us? I was hurt under your arm. I thought all for the best. Help me into some house, Benvolio, or I shall faint. A plague on both your houses. They have made worms meat of me. I have it, and soundly too. Your houses. Okay. So remember, he's cursing the feud. He blames the feud, does Mercutio. He blames that for his death. Okay. Now, to answer this question, like I've already mentioned a couple of times, we need to focus on the extract first and then the play as a whole as well. Now, it's as always, you need to make your point, back it up with your evidence, analyse the evidence that you've included. You need to then link it, and you also need to talk about context as well. Okay, so as long as you include all of those things, you should be able to answer the question. Now, the link comes. Really, I should have put that below context, but the link comes in order to talk about the play as a whole. So I'll talk about that in a second. We'll start at the top. So make your point. There's 3 potential points that I've put there, but you can make your own. These are just ideas. So have a look at those, see if there's any of those you'd like to use. Evidence, a lot of this we did talk about in yesterday's lesson. And a lot of those quotes we did talk about. So use your notes, please, from last lesson to analyse the text, okay? To analyse that extract, please use your notes, okay? That's what you need to do. And I've mentioned that there. Make sure you include some of this context as well. So think about the family honour, think about fate, think about the religious context, okay? It's a Catholic country, Italy. I've made a few notes there for you. Think about the audience. Would the audience appreciate the significance of his words and the religious connotations and the imagery that's coming out of that? Think about that. Link it to that. Key ideas, family honour, and fate. Make sure you try and talk about that. Then we come on to links. Now this is the really key part. In order to answer this second bullet point, you need to be linking your answer to a part of the text outside of this extract. So a different part of the play where Mercutio shows his character. Now a really key one which you will have already looked at is the Queen Mab speech, okay? You looked at that either last week or the week before, I can't remember quite which, okay? I think it was a couple of weeks ago at least. So the Queen Mab speech, it starts light-hearted, becomes serious. Remember the quotes from that, okay? You need to link one of these, so go back and look at the notes from those lessons and use one of these quotes and the notes that you had to analyse that quote to link it in with your point and evidence from the extract. So you'll have your point, your evidence, some context, and then you'll link it to a different part of the play. Put your quote in as evidence. Write the analysis from the notes you've got from previous lessons on that part of the text that you've found. And try maybe weave in some more context, and then that should answer both bullet points. Okay, that would be one paragraph. Okay, potentially two if you're splitting it up with the link. Okay, and then repeat that. So there should be at least 2 paragraphs, please. So try your best to do 2 full cycles of that. Okay, point, evidence, analysis, context. So point, evidence, analysis, context, then link it, then analyze again, and then do another cycle of that. Okay, so the whole idea of this is to make sure we answer both parts, the extract and the play as a whole. Just to repeat, always check the question. If you feel like you're rambling a bit, go back to the question. Make sure you are answering it, okay? So explain what we learn about his character. So the character of Mercutio is what we're looking at, and his importance in the play. So his character and the role he plays, okay? The character he has and the role that it plays. The character he has and the role that it plays, okay? That's the question, okay? And how is that shown in the extract and in the play as a whole? If you follow this, you should have no problems, okay? Any concerns, as always, send myself an email, staff.mstevenson@kingjames.school. Other than that, that's all you need to do today. Answer the question, follow your process as always, and then upload your work. That's all for today. Very straightforward, crack on with that. And I'll see you in the next lesson where we're going to look at Act 3, Scene 2, you'll be pleased to know. So we're moving on to Scene 2. There's a lot in Scene 1. Once we get through Scene 2, we will get through the act pretty swiftly from there. Good luck, and I look forward to reading some of your answers. Take care. Over and out.